Good evening, Cleveland Broadway fans. Welcome to the Connor Palace for the KeyBank Broadway Series launch party. Please take a moment to silence your portable electronic devices and know that the use of photography tonight is strongly encouraged. Please feel free to share with your friends and brag to your enemies that you are here tonight. And now please welcome to the stage, from KeyBank, East Ohio retail leader Matt Weiner and Senior Vice President of Community Relations, Karen White.
Good evening. Wow, it's great to see all of you back here again this year, and we extend a warm welcome to those of you who are here for the first time for the launch party. You are in for an incredible treat. At Key, we are so thrilled to partner with Playhouse Square to bring you the KeyBank Broadway Series. And with tonight's launch, we are celebrating our 11th year as the title sponsor of the series. That's great. So at Key, we are confident in this Cleveland community and everything that's happening to bring people downtown. Certainly Playhouse Square and the KeyBank Broadway Series play a big role in all of that. But besides the Broadway series, Playhouse Square provides an amazing array of music, entertainment, and performances that really enhance and lift up this region. Truly, a vibrant cultural scene is vital in bringing people in this community together through their shared appreciation of the arts and the diversity that these performances bring. And that's the reason we are so proud to partner with Playhouse Square in this way. Now, before we celebrate the 2015-2016 KeyBank Broadway Series, my colleague Matt has something exciting to share with all of you.
Thank you, Karen. I yield the fishbowl to you. Would you hold that for a moment? So we've been, the last few weeks, having a contest that both online and in our branches to give away tickets to tonight's launch party. So we have 10 individuals that were selected out of a couple thousand entries to attend tonight. And now we are going to draw for the grand prize, which is a subscription for two to the 2015-2016 KeyBank Broadway Series. So, in that fishbowl is the winner, or their name at least. And I'm gonna pull the name now. When I don't have any tickets on me, so please do not rush the stage if I pull your name. All right. And the winner is Chris Burrito. So, give Chris a round of applause. All right, congratulations, Chris. And I just want to say before we get on with the show, on behalf of the 5,000 plus KeyBank employees that work in Northeast Ohio, we're real proud to be involved in this event as your hometown bank. And I encourage you all to continue to support Playhouse Square. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Thanks, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, President and CEO of Playhouse Square, Art Falco.
Good evening. And thank you all for coming to the KeyBank launch party. It's going to be another incredible evening as you will be entertained with the Gina Show. But before we begin, Just a few things and a few updates on what we've been doing at Playhouse Square. We've been fairly busy in the last year. At this time last year, if you were here, we were talking about creating an identifiable look to the Playhouse Square Theater District with gateways, a retro sign, video boards, and the GE chandelier. And on May 2nd, we had the most spectacular 25,000 person block party on Euclid Avenue. Who was here last year for that? It was spectacular, and we had 10 million Twitter accounts, which I don't really know what that means. And we had 2 national publications talking about the event. And then soon after the May 2nd unveiling of the GE chandelier, LeBron decided to come back to Cleveland. A few weeks later, the RNC decided to come to Cleveland. And we had then 5 national publications that stated that Cleveland is a great place to come and visit, is a great foodie town. So we'd like to think that we played a big part with that chandelier in all of these great things occurring in Cleveland, and the trajectory is upward. But just a few more things that we've been working on. In October, we opened the Hoffer House. Who's been to the Hoffer House? Well, you are a number of almost 200,000 people that have enjoyed the Hoffer House beer, the Hoffer House food, the entertainment. It's another great entertainment venue for Playhouse Square. Also, in this past 16 months, we've really taken a look at what are our needs for the future, because we're always thinking about the future. And when you have 1 million people coming into your living room, sitting in your chairs, in your carpeting and whatever, things wear out. And so we then started to determine, all right, how can we replace all of these things, and how can we have Playhouse Square looking as beautiful 30 years from today as it does today? And so we did an analysis, and what's hard to believe is you're in this theater, the Connor Palace. It's been 28 years since we've renovated this space. The State Theater is over 30 years. The Ohio Theater, 33 years. And so looking to the future, we said, well, we know that we need to raise some money to improve all of the capital needs for this theater. We also said, well, what are the other needs that we have? In community engagement and education, we know that we need to provide greater subsidy for schools, as their school budgets are now starting to get cut. If we're going to be able to attract the 40,000 students that come to Playhouse Square annually. We know that, well, we believe that there isn't enough good quality children's theater being produced in this country, and that we feel that we can play a very important role in that with our partnerships with the Cleveland Playhouse and Great Lakes Theater in Cleveland State, and having a fund that will allow us actually to be a producing leader in this area we believe is important, particularly in the children's theater industry. Also having an investment fund. In the future, we would love to be the home for a number of pre-Broadway openings before these shows are going to Broadway. And that takes some risk and whatever. And then last, having a fund in place that can sustain the organization so that because we need to spend $2 or $3 million every year to maintain these theaters. So having a fund that would generate enough revenue to do that. And you add all of that up, it adds up to $100 million. It's a lot of money. I'm happy to report that after 18 months, we're at $57 million, which is it's terrific, but we still have a long way to go. It's $43 million to go. And just to remind everyone that the ticket prices, we're only able to keep a small percentage, that most of those dollars leave town. So that's one of the reasons that from a capital standpoint, we need to have a fund in place to maintain all of these great facilities. And then most recently, we received a $3 million grant from the Gunn Foundation, and that is for the lobby of the Ohio Theater. And what is terrific about that is the Ohio Theater was the first theater renovated in 1982. We didn't have enough funds to renovate the lobby. We could only renovate the auditorium. So now, 33 years later, we have the funds to create the most magnificent lobby. It will be similar to the Ireland lobby in the State Theater, with the columns, with the paintings, with all of the great ornamentation in the ceiling. It's going to be spectacular. And so we're coming full circle in 35 years. The auditorium was the first theater renovated. The lobby of the Ohio will be the last theater. So we have a lot of exciting things going on. I know that tonight is Broadway, and it's all about Broadway. I know you want to hear about all of these spectacular shows that are coming here. And so thank you again for coming. Thank you for your support. And now, on with the show.
now, give a warm welcome to your host, celebrating 30 years at Playhouse Square, executive producer Gina Bernacci.
My heart is sure racing after that impressive performance we all just experienced. Let's give another hand to the orchestra, Lakewood High School's The Lakewood Project. Hey! They are such a great example of the incredibly vibrant arts and music scene in Northeast Ohio. In December of 2001, the renowned Trans-Siberian Orchestra is playing right here in this theater. And as a part of the outreach with that engagement, our friends at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame collaborated on a series of workshops. There, Lakewood High School's orchestra director, Beth Hankins, spoke to TSO violinist Mark Wood. She asked him to compose a piece of music for her orchestra students. He did, and soon the world's first high school rock orchestra was born. Amazing. And now in their 12th year, this elite group boasts 33 members and over 100 alum. And with me right here, two of the members, Greg Watson and Rachel Urban. And so, right? Catherine, okay. Do you know anyone named Rachel by chance? Okay, since there's nothing like a dame, why don't you go first and share with us, so I see you play violin.
I do.
Correct? So tell us, how often do you rehearse? How often does the group rehearse?
Well, the entire group rehearses once a week, either on Sunday or Monday afternoons for a four-hour rehearsal. And then each individual sections, that would be the strings, both the acoustics on the risers and the electrics here on the front line. And then also our rhythm section over here on this side, rehearse individually and sectionals where they can focus on the needs of each specific instrument family.
So in the total week of a school year, how often are you rehearsing for 4 hours? Are you rehearsing?
Generally about 5 hours, about 4 hours for a full rehearsal, and then about a 1 hour sectional.
Plus you go to school. Yes. Gee, that's incredible. And Greg, you are the arranger, right, for much of the music?
Yes, yeah.
So tell us what that means.
So when I'm handed a piece, I listen to the music and say I take the vocal part. I will put it where I feel it necessary, hopefully first violin. But other parts, such as orchestra parts, I get to decide where they go, and it's really a great time to do, so I love it.
And what year are you?
I'm a senior.
I'm also a senior.
And so what's next? Are you studying music, or what are your plans?
I am not studying music. I'm pursuing a liberal arts education at George Washington University, but I do hope to... Thank you. I do hope to continue to play music and to make sure that it always stays a part of my life.
And you, Greg?
I will be doing music composition at Baldwin Wallace.
Excellent. And so it seems to me that the rhythm section and the string section seem to work pretty well together. How does that happen?
When we first meet, it really is kind of terrifying. You don't know these people. They're rhythm people. We don't associate with them. So when you first meet them, it's really an interesting experience. But after you realize they're just as afraid of you as you are of them, it just goes from there. It really does. So I think that's how we kind of mesh together.
So, Catherine, tell me, what 3 words come to mind when you think about the Lakewood Project?
3 words. I think the first word I would use to describe the Lakewood Project is ambitious. You know, it's even as a group, we take on gigs like this. Like, how many high schoolers get to play in a hall like this? But But even as individual members, I'd say that our Lakewood Project students are very high achieving. A pretty typical student is going to be involved in at least 1 or 2 AP courses for which they can get college credit. Greg and I are the presidents of the National Honor Society at Lakewood. It's just a very, it's a very talented group. Secondly, I would say that the group is innovative. You know, there's, like Gina said, this is really the first group of its kind. We are faced with obstacles all the time that we've never had to overcome before, setting orchestral instruments to kind of an electric rock and roll kind of feel. And then, third of all, I guess codependent. You know, as strange as it seems, like we cannot operate without one part of our group. Our rhythm, our drums, our keys, our guitars, our bass, they're the ones who give us kind of that feel of a band. We're not just an orchestra that plays rock music, we are a rock band. And then our acoustics, they're still on the traditional wooden instruments that you would see if you went to the Cleveland Orchestra. And you know, without them, really the electric instruments have a really tinny feel. They warm it out and really make the music sound nice. And then our electric line kind of marries those two families, the electric and then the orchestral, and really makes the group kind of unique.
It's very impressive. How long have you been playing?
So I've been playing since 2nd grade.
2nd grade. And how about
I've
you?
been playing since 5th grade.
Gee, and both live in Lakewood?
Yep.
So do I. Great community. Well, thank you so much for being here. You've just added so much dazzle and electricity to our evening and announcements. So thank you both. You know, a special nod also goes to Beth Hankins, who created this wonderful opportunity for these students and made their visit here this evening possible. So, before we dive in, let's give it to Beth, absolutely. Before we dive into our fabulous lineup of productions for next season, I have some terrific news to share with you. For the past 2 years, I've had the joy to report to you the record-breaking season ticket sales for our KeyBank Broadway Series. And tonight is no different. Thanks to you, we have exceeded last year's chart-busting sales, making Cleveland America's #1 stop for touring Broadway with 32,000 season ticket holders. Yeah! That's more than Los Angeles, Chicago, or Washington, D.C. From coast to coast, Playhouse Square is the stop that has the attention of everyone in the industry. Yeah, way to go. Beautiful. Now, beyond Broadway, there is an extraordinary amount of positive momentum occurring in and around Playhouse Square. From the GE Chandelier to our International Children's Theater Festival, we are glowing inside and out. Everything that we have all dreamt that this district could be, a place to live, work, and play, is happening, and you are the spark that has ignited this renaissance. None of this is possible without the best audience in the nation, so thank you for your ongoing support. Oh, and one more thing. We would really like your help in getting the word out tonight. Thank you, David Green, our Director of Programming. Yay, David Green. Wasn't that great of him, how he handed off that phone? He does that and so much more at Playhouse Square for us. But we'd really like your help to get the word out tonight, and we're looking to you for your help. So please contact your friends as you're sitting here by tweeting, posting, texting, and emailing them about the things that excite you about what we're sharing with you with our announcement. Now, we have reached out to our wonderful redcoats to ask them to help relax our policies for tonight so that you can help us spread the word. So, let's practice together. I'm going to my Twitter app and writing, having a ball with my friends. Yep. At Playhouse Square Broadway launch. Ugh, jeez, I'm all thumbs with this thing. Launch. There. Okay. So, please feel free to do this throughout the night, and don't forget to use hashtag BWI in CLE. Now, our first two musicals are among the funniest productions to be seen on Broadway in quite some time. So let's get started. Yeah. Show business is full of gifted screenwriters, stand-up comedians, playwrights, actors, directors, and jazz musicians. However, no one can perform all of those roles as well as Haywood Woody Allen. He has been making people laugh since 1954 when he began writing hilarious quips for the Ed Sullivan and Tonight shows. Our 2015-16 season opens with Woody's return to the Great White Way. It's an evening filled with gangsters who believe they can dance and hoochie-coochie girls who think they can act. Based on his 1994 film, here is Bullets Over Broadway.
Bullets Over Broadway is a whiz-bang retro good time Broadway musical. Raves the Chicago Tribune. The best show in town. Shouts NPR. Written by Woody Allen and originally directed and choreographed by Susan Stroman, who brought you such hits as The Producers and Young Frankenstein, this classic Broadway musical comedy shows you what happens when a nervous playwright accepts an offer he can't refuse. Add in a mob boss, a fading diva, a hitman, gangsters, gals, showstoppers, and toe tappers. It's loaded with big laughs, colorful characters, and the songs that made the 20s roar. Don't miss Bullets Over Broadway this fall at Playhouse Square when we launch the national tour on stage October 6th through the 18th.
I suggest you get your tickets today.
Bullets Over Broadway, set in the 1920s, features not only Woody's trademark monologues, but also incorporates his musical affinity for the jazz age. He, along with Susan Stroman, the show's brilliant director-choreographer, selected period-specific pop and jazz tunes to translate his movie into a Broadway musical. Their intention was to give you the same musical experience as though you were seeing one of Woody's films. Now, tremendous credit goes to Glenn Kelly. As the musical supervisor, he adapted all of these songs and created a score with a cohesive sound. Glenn has shaped songs that were never written for the stage and turned them into show tunes. And you'll be familiar with tunes such as I'm Sitting on Top of the World, Tain't Nobody's Business If I Do, and I especially appreciate the humor in Cole Porter's lyrics with Let's Misbehave. These songs have been covered by everyone from Frank Sinatra to Michael Bublé. Now, as you remember from the film, it's New York City, 1929. We meet the aspiring playwright, David Shane. He is desperate for his work to be discovered so he can prove himself to his fiancée. Much to his joy, a producer eventually secures the financing for one of his plays titled God of Our Fathers. But there's a catch. The producer has arranged for the money to finance the play from mob boss Nick Valenti, who will only front the dough for this musical if his dim-witted girlfriend Olive is cast in one of the starring roles. Now add in Cheech, a mafia goon, who has a panache for writing snappy dialogue, and Helen Sinclair, an aging, half-insane movie diva. Now the hijinks begins. Of course, these things never happen in real life. Cheech goes from gangster by day to playwright by night. The more David reluctantly incorporates Cheech's ideas into the script, the better his play becomes. You'll see for yourself with this funny, behind-the-scenes look at showbiz as only Woody Allen can tell it. There is no one more qualified to put the swing into this musical than 5-time Tony Award winner Susan Stroman. We have seen her tap dancing touch here with the producers and Young Frankenstein. And those sassy costumes move thanks to the genius of designer William Ivy Long. In October, Bullets Over Broadway will launch its national tour from this very stage at the Connor Palace, and you're sure to get a bang out of this campy send-up to showbiz. So, yay, Bullets, yay Woody Allen. So from David, our pushover of a playwright, we now shift to meeting the charming and lovable serial killer, Monty Navarro. Monty, you know him, right? Monty has been living a meager, working-class existence in Edwardian London. He is eager to prove his social and financial standing in order to marry the upper-class Sibella. Upon his mother's death, Monty discovers a family secret. It seems his mother was disowned by her well-heeled aristocratic family, the Dysquis, for eloping with his father, a ne'er-do-well musician. However, with this news, Monty realizes that he is the 9th Earl of Highhurst. All he has to do to ascend to this position of social prominence and wealth is to bump off all the relatives who are ahead of him. But there's a problem. There's always a problem. Make that 8 problems. The 8 members of the Dysquis who stand in line for the earldom of Highhurst. The solution? You guessed it. Let's take a look at the winner of the 2014 Tony Award for Best Musical, A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder.
Our hero is Monty Navarro, who hatches a murderous plan for ladies and lords to meet their rewards, and all played by one clever man.
You'll fall for the vixen Sibella, the girl he is murdering for. The soubrette sings so high, what all of them die. Ah! And Monty's the man they adore.
For those who doubt death can be funny, we're here to tell you it can.
Through hilarious means and uproarious scenes, he eviscerates all of his clan.
This musical's not a whodunit. Rather, how does he do it? At times, he gallops along and he does it in song, along with some excellent rhyme.
Sabella, I've got wonderful news.
Oh, no, don't squeeze, Monty, you're a tease. Oh, Monty, look, my shoes.
Of course, I should like to talk to you.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
I am in the line of succession to become Earl of Highhurst.
You, Earl of Highhurst. 8 people would have to die for that to happen. How likely is that? A plan is set in motion.
First we meet Lord Ethelbert Dysquis.
The present Earl of Highhurst.
I don't understand the poor. I don't understand the poor. The lives they lead of want and need. Well, I should think it would be a bore.
Monty targets his first victim, the young dandy, Asquith Dysquith Jr.
I am standing here with poison in my pocket, one eye on the target, one eye on the clock. It better happen soon before I lose my nerve and run. If I'd had a knife, I could have grabbed him, then discreetly knocked him on the head and stabbed him, not to mention what I would have done if I had had a gun.
We will spare you the grisly details of the murder.
Hello, birds! Hello, sky!
Monty rescues Henry Dice with his next victim from a fist fight.
When a fellow needs a little helping hand, who'll be there? It's almost guaranteed. No one else could ever really understand. Only another man knows what you need.
We will spare you the grisly details of Henry's death. Monty next targets Henry's grief-stricken sister, Phoebe Dysquith. And when I meet the man whom I'm awaited, I'll know the one I've waited for is he.
Next in line is Miss Lady Hyacinth Dicewith, a philanthropist in search of a new cause.
Will populate an orphanage in Cairo with foundlings from the reeds along the Nile, to watch a creature grow, to swaddle it and know the joy of its pathetic little smile.
We will spare you the grisly details of Lady Hyacinth's death and Lord Bartholomew.
And Lady Salome.
And Lord Ezekiel.
But Monty's final victim, Lord Adalbert, is murdered by someone else. We will spare you the grisly details. Just as he's finally become Earl, Monty is arrested by an inspector from Scotland Yard.
Monty is found innocent, but will he really get away with murder?
A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder.
It's musical.
And funny as hell.
A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. Tony.
And sexy too.
A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder.
Classic.
And modern as well. You've read every glowing review. Kissing and killing, it's stunning, it's thrilling. You'll laugh so hard you'll lose your dinner. A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, the best musical Tony winner.
It'll not content.
As you can see, A Gentleman's Guide is a nod to Gilbert and Sullivan with a fresh, engaging spin. Think of it as Sweeney Todd and Monty Python meets Downton Abbey. This story of a sympathetic psychopath is told with razor-sharp wit and a score of rapid-fire patter tunes and beautifully lush ballads. The only thing more hilarious and pathetic than Monty's actions are his victims, all tongue-in-cheek depictions of pompous and out-of-touch British aristocracy of the early 20th century. You'll appreciate this because all of these characters are all played by the same person. All of the crazy Dicewith family, both the men and the women. And you'll appreciate why Linda Cho won the Tony for her costumes. The night I saw it, my head was spinning with these rapid-fire quick changes. Now, one aspect that makes this musical so tantalizing is that it brings fresh blood to Broadway. Newcomers Robert L. Friedman and Stephen Lutvak wrote the show's book, lyrics, and score. And director Darko Trejniak snagged the Tony by providing just the right amount of discipline to this fast-paced comedy. Now, despite the body count of this murderously funny musical, it is a show your whole family will enjoy. However, be mindful if you notice any of them taking notes at this knock-em-dead hit. A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder comes to jolly old Cleveland this November. Yeah, you're going to enjoy it. Absolutely. If our first two musicals exemplify an overdose of testosterone-driven zany behavior, then our next two productions offer a more reflective view of the human condition. Through the lens of our heroines, we see how seemingly small decisions can impact their lives in very big ways. Strangely, it's not always the major events that determine who we end up with or what we do with our lives. Serendipity can play a role where merely answering the phone or attending a gathering or not can change a person forever. Such is the case with Elizabeth. After the breakup of her marriage, this urban planner moves across the country to New York City looking for the chance to start over. There, her two closest friends, Kate and Lucas, are full of advice about how she should establish her new life in the big city. Kate believes Elizabeth would be more beguiling by seeking out new experiences and going by the name Liz, whereas Lucas encourages her to focus on her career and go back to using her college nickname Beth. We watch as Elizabeth plays out both options in this poignant and sometimes humorous exploration of what if. Here is the Broadway musical, If Then.
I'm amazed he somehow found her. I'm amazed that she gave in. She will lift and he will ground her. All in all, I'd say it's win-win. 'Cause the first time was disaster. Way out west is Orin's wife. She did
The story gives you the opportunity to reflect upon choices you've made, upon opportunities that you let go by, opportunities you wish you hadn't let go by.
I think that a woman sort of in her late 30s who hasn't yet had a family, who is still sort of on her way up in her working world, she's got a lot of choices to face and also has to, see what comes down the pike that she doesn't get to choose, but that just happens to her. And I think that that's a fascinating and complicated life to live.
We all can relate to those what ifs and near misses and lucky breaks in our lives. But I think it's a very romantic ideal to believe that something is looking out for us, and maybe we're just destined to find the life that we want.
For me, I am intrigued how Elizabeth's success as an urban planner stands in contrast to her conflicted feelings. This is a field where the projects are large scale and long range, where the outcomes are seen years into the future. However, on a personal level, she's at an emotional impasse, confounded by the passing seconds on her biological clock versus the tug of the time clock. Who better to direct this Give Me Guidance musical than Michael Greif? I find he has laser beam insight into the angst of female characters searching for order in their lives, as we have seen with his work on Next to Normal and Rent. He has an alluring way of bending reality just enough without ever losing sight of the story. Writer Brian Yorkie has been reunited with composer Tom Kitt to weave this tapestry of Elizabeth's lives as Liz and Beth in a sometimes discreet manner. This is a spoiler alert for Liz and Beth, the thing you'll really want to know when you see this musical. Find out if her heart lies with her career or the Cupid when If Then makes its way to Playhouse Square in February. So, in 1960, it seemed as though life and people were looking up. Our quest for a new frontier encouraged us to gaze toward the heavens as we fantasized about the possibilities of landing a man on the moon. A little closer to home, at Cleveland's Lewis Research Center, a group of engineers were quietly pioneering the use of liquid hydrogen as a way to add fuel to this concept. Dr. Abe Silverstein of Fairview Park became the director of spaceflight programs. He was on an additional mission to name this high-flying initiative. So as he sat in his home, paging through a book on mythology, he decided to call it Apollo. Wow, that was named by a guy that lived in Fairview Park. That's incredible. Meanwhile, a space race of a different sort was taking place at the famed Brill Building in New York's Times Square. Considered the center of the music business, artists were vying for coveted studio space at this hit factory. A songwriter could rocket into the industry by running from floor to floor, cutting deals with printers, publishers, publicists, and promoters all under one roof. It's here that we meet a savvy teenage girl from Brooklyn who walked right in the Brill Building and convinced Don Kirshner, the man with the golden ear, to buy her song. And no longer did her dream seem so far away. This is the story of one of the most successful and beloved singer-songwriters of the last 50 years. It is beautiful, the Carole King musical.
Tapestry is one of the best-selling albums of all time, but you might not know Carole King is also one of the most prolific songwriters in the business. She had hits on the radio long before anyone heard her beautiful voice, and now a brand new Broadway musical called Beautiful tells her story.
Beautiful is the story of Carole King, starting in 1959 when she came to 1650 Broadway as a 16-year-old songwriter, and culminates in her becoming the legendary singer-songwriter that we know.
Great White Way has a new hit on its hands.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beautiful, a show about the early life and career of the legendary Carole King, is smashing records on Broadway.
It's about how, in the face of a lot of trouble and adversity and these tests that she went through, how she found something bigger in herself.
But you waited 4 months to see it.
I did.
Because you couldn't bring yourself.
I'm bawling my eyes out, and I'm thinking everybody is going to recognize me. But everybody else was bawling their eyes out.
And then you surprised the cast later at the curtain call.
I haven't seen this show. This is my first night. The word that I said backstage, I'm not going to say here, but it is effing awesome.
One of the hottest new shows on Broadway. You've probably heard of it. It just broke box office records.
And the show so truly portrays the joy songwriters feel first when we finish a song, and then when we hear it sung by the artist we wrote it for. I feel my heart start to tremble the air.
was fantastic. Meet Maggie Kanzler from Beautiful. That was really great. You know, in addition to hearing these great tunes sung live, the audience gets to hear about Carol's inspiring story, right?
That's what's so great about the musical Beautiful. It's not just a concert of all of her songs. We get to see Carol as a very young songwriter emerging in New York City, and the popular people at the time singing her songs, and then Carol herself finding her voice as an artist and as a woman, which makes it incredibly inspiring.
Yeah, you know, for me, Tapestry is the first album I ever bought. And so, yeah, right? Who out there has Tap? Might still have it, right? So, as I was attending the musical the first time, I felt like I was listening to the soundtrack of my life. And among the things that was surprising is, you know, during her marriage to Jerry Goffin, their early music, Locomotion, Chains, Up on the Roof, Take Good Care of My Baby, they were covered by so many other artists.
Right. So the musical, we show the songs that she wrote with Jerry Goffin, her husband, and then also their rival songwriting team and best friend, Cynthia Weil, Barry Mann. So you get to learn all of the process and the stories behind all those songs. Like, for example, my favorite thing that I learned when I first saw the show was that Locomotion was written for their babysitter. Little Eva made the song famous. That was their actual babysitter. So things like that is why this show is just unlike anything else out there.
Yeah, it's such a compelling story in addition to the music. And your voice, listening to you sing, you really evoke the warmth and magnetism of Carol's voice. And hearing you takes me back to my teenage years, which I'd like to believe weren't so far away.
Me too.
Well, let's give another round of applause to Maggie Kanzler. Thank you so much for being here. The loud and slightly out-of-tune voice that you'll hear coming from the audience during this run will likely be mine. As I sing all of this music that is so much in my DNA, I can't wait for you all to experience one of Broadway's most popular musicals. It's beautiful. The Carole King musical rolls into Cleveland in April. Now, yeah, you have a great time. Even though our next leading lady wears a size 6 jumper and bobby socks, she stands tall in children's literature. Her story has become sacred to the millions who have grown up reading the book since it was originally released in 1988. Great Britain's Royal Shakespeare Company brings Matilda's story to the stage, and with it creates one of the most critically acclaimed and successful musicals in years. Winner of 7 Olivier and 4 Tony Awards, this is Roald Dahl's rousing tale of a little girl who has the courage and imagination to change her destiny. Let's watch.
Conquering London, Matilda the Musical took its British invasion to Broadway.
Well, now a new British musical that's broken all kinds of records in London.
It's storming Broadway now with a dozen Tony nominations.
Multi-Tony Award-winning Broadway hit.
One of Broadway's most popular and acclaimed new musicals.
The Tony Award-winning,
the record-breaking, heartwarming
Matilda the Musical.
Matilda the Musical!
Matilda the Musical is drawing high praise from critics and kids alike.
You have to go see it. It is amazing.
Matilda is the story of a precocious 5-year-old forced to confront an evil headmistress and even worse parents.
Get out of here!
What's special about Matilda?
Well, in Annie just waits for something to happen, and same with Cinderella. But Matilda does something.
She takes control.
She states a pretty powerful message. She lets you know, if you don't like your story, you could always change it. Just because you find that life's not fair, it doesn't mean that you just have to grin and bear it. If you always take it on the chin and wear it, nothing will change. Even
the songs for Matilda. You've written a show that's for a lot of people, but kids love, but there's nothing goo gaga about it.
No.
It's not cutesy.
It's not saccharine. It's not show-tuney, and the kids don't sing in a show-tuney way. It's very sort of gritty.
I believe that Matilda Wormwood is an exception to the rules.
An exception to the rules? In my school?
To Dahl's other works, such as James and the Giant Peach and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, this tale brings a uniqueness to children's storytelling. Rather than depict the world as a place where nothing bad really happens, Dahl's youngsters persevere and conquer the grown-ups who fail miserably at being good parents and role models. We find that, for instance, with Matilda, she plays a number of tricks on her dad. You know, she glues her dad's hat to his head. She dyes his hair green. But, you know, and that's her way of dealing with her parents' indifference toward her. But these deeds actually quickly land Matilda in a hellish boarding school that's run by the fire-breathing beast Agatha Trunchbull. She's built like a refrigerator and obsessed with the rules. Ultimately, however, the warm-hearted teacher, Miss Honey, becomes the headmistress and provides with Matilda with a loving home. Now, I had a chance to see the show on London's West End and on Broadway. And upon entering the theater, I was immediately immersed into another world as I eyeballed Rob Hull's set design. It's an explosion of Scrabble tiles that quickly drew me into Matilda's reality. Rob's vision captures not only Matilda's special power, but her ability to use words as power to gain control over her situation. The choreographer, Peter Darling, skillfully transcribes the pathos of Matilda and her pint-sized classmates into motion. Through their movement, I felt the exhilaration of zooming through the air on a swing. And at other times, their action was an energetic release of emotion, revealing the simmering pot of mutiny brewing at the boarding school. This fable is beautifully expressed through the music and lyrics of composer Tim Minchin. He is an Australian Renaissance man whose talent at the keyboard vividly captures the darkness of Dahl's story without ever seeming dreary. When I saw the show in New York, I was seated next to Tim, and he shared with me his love of Dahl's books and the way the characters and illustrations inspired him. You will see how Tim gives us access to Matilda's world through an upbeat score of memorable pop tunes. Matilda is sure to win your heart when she comes to Cleveland in April of 2016, and if you're like me, your inner child will emerge as you cheer for this 40-pound little girl who becomes a real heavyweight champion in her fight for justice. Now, a trip to the salon usually means a shampoo, cut, and style, and maybe a little touch-up on the color, even for the women. You know what I'm talking about. But it could also include a pedicure, a facial, a massage, a mud wrap, a body scrub, or a whole host of other what we'll just call mysterious treatments. This pampering is a chance for you to be alone and escape the pressures of today's busy world. There was a time, however, that these establishments were referred to as beauty parlors. This is the place where my mom, like many women, went for her weekly ritual. There, a chatty woman would shampoo and set her hair, and then it was under the dryer for 25 minutes. Next, the helmet of rollers were removed, making way for this frenzied round of teasing her hair. And after bending this voluminous pile of tangles into a smooth shape, there'd be a healthy spray of Aquanet, and she was on her way. Her do remained lacquered in place until repeating that ritual on the following Saturday. The beauty parlor was an indispensable part of the social fabric of our community. Beyond the bobby pins and profusion of aerosol was a service you couldn't buy anywhere: the kinship among these women. In addition to catching up on the latest neighborhood news, there was plenty of free advice and opinions. But their time together was an opportunity to share the joys and hardships that life brings, providing just enough juice to get through the week. Steel Magnolias welcomes us to this special place and time. It began as a short story and became a play that ran off-Broadway for 3 years. In 1989, Robert Harling's script was made into a beloved movie. That bond of friendship, loss, and laughter is delightfully captured with our next production. Let's take a look at this reminder about the closeness among these ladies. The names of the women in Steel Magnolias are as southern as grits and chicken fried steak. Truvy, Marilyn, Weezer, Clary, Annelle, and of course Shelby. Their stories will have you pining for the days of big hair with a big old serving of fun and close friendship. Speaking of valued relationships, all of us in Northeast Ohio will have the chance to celebrate a cultural milestone next season as the Cleveland Playhouse marks their 100th anniversary. As America's first professional theater company, they continue as leaders in the industry. In May of 2016, we will honor their legacy as we co-produce Steel Magnolias with our colleagues at the Cleveland Playhouse. This heartwarming and humorous drama will be in the hands of their talented artistic director, Laura Kepley. As the director of the play, Laura brings a refreshing touch to this engaging night at the theater. And I think Laura is here with us this evening. Do we have, oh, stand up, Laura, turn around and wave. All I can tell you is that if you have half as much fun attending Steel Magnolias as Laura and I have already had discussing it, you are in for a treat. And as you know, seeing a production in the intimacy of the redesigned Allen Theater will make you feel just like you were sitting in the middle of Truvy's beauty parlor. So we open in May. Now let's go back to the top of our presentation for a moment. And remember that news we were talking about, how you all could help us share our news? Remember that group tweet we all did? Well, on the screen behind me are some randomly selected social handles from some of you who let the world know that you're here tonight. If you see your social handle up there, after the performance is over, just come forward to the stage and receive a token of appreciation from all of us at Playhouse Square. So, from Truvy's beauty parlor in Louisiana, we now travel 5,000 miles east to Paris, France. There, in the depths of the opera house, the angel of music obsesses over his love for the young chorus girl, Christine Daae. The world may never see another musical as lavishly produced and engaging as our final production for this season. Of course, I'm speaking about Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber's masterpiece, The Phantom of the Opera.
In all your fantasies, you always knew that man and mystery were both in you. Every face a different shade. Masquerade. Look around, there's another mask behind you. Masquerade. Raining yellow, spinning red. Masquerade. Take your fill at the spectacle. Astound you.
From the moment Andrew Lloyd Webber first rang up producer Cameron McIntosh to pitch him on the adaptation of Gaston Leroux's novel, the pair knew they had something special. After reviewing a multitude of films, including the Claude Rains and Lon Chaney versions, they realized that a love triangle between the mysterious Phantom, the vulnerable Christine, and the dashing Raoul would be the emotional backbone of their musical. Since its premiere in London in 1986, generations have been introduced to musical theater through the power of this storytelling and Maria Bjornsson's iconic costume and set designs. Now, Phantom paddles into the 21st century with a state-of-the-art physical production. Among the things you will love about this tour is that Maria's set has been reimagined by Paul Brown in a most spectacular way. 18 tractor trailers will deliver 390 tons of lights, scenery, and costumes. We're bringing in structural engineers to make certain that the stage of the State Theater can carry all of this weight. Over 140 million people have seen this musical worldwide. It's been translated into 13 languages and has toured 30 countries. Here at Playhouse Square alone, 609,000 fans of Phantom have attended 261 performances. There's nothing like the Phantom of the Opera. And although the stats are pretty impressive, the magic remains with this tragic love story and majestic music. Although I personally have seen this musical countless times, each and every time I see it, I discover something new. Phantom continues selling out and breaking house records. However, the only place to see this refreshed version is on this tour. So in June of 2016, come and join us to rediscover the music of the night. Now, before we wrap things up, let's take a quick look back at this incredible lineup of shows. Well, here is the best in dazzling dance, memorable music, breathtaking scenic and costume design, and compelling storytelling, assembled in one package just for you. It's like 7 mini vacations that we hope are the best part of your day. Our 2015-16 KeyBank Broadway Series is now available exclusively tonight, here, just for you. We've been playing to full houses this season, and we will certainly be at capacity again with Kinky Boots, Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, and the Book of Mormon. Tonight is your chance to get in ahead of the crowds for next season. So as you go off to some of the after parties, our experts are standing by to quickly help you keep and claim your seats. But before you go, we have another important thought that all of us at Playhouse Square want to share with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for telling our story.
thank you for helping us bring a little dazzle to Cleveland.
Thank you for creating your memories with us.
And thank you for introducing theater to a new generation. Thank you for being a season ticket holder.
And for your commitment to Broadway and CLE.
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 Thank you for letting us be the best part of your day.
The best part of your day.
The best part of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. But before you go, would you like to hear some more beautiful music? Okay, well, good night. I will look forward to seeing all of you at the theater, and Maggie, take it away.
You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. Know the truth better, you're gonna find it, yes you will, that you're beautiful as you feel.
She said yes, and then